One, those trees.
Well, love for this woman, but she don't want me. Well, love for this.
Welcome to another episode of The Musicians We Know. Today's guest is Daniel Oda, and I'd like to thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And I'm going to ask you the same question I ask everybody.
Okay.
To start off with, how did you start playing music?
I grew up in a musician family. My dad and my uncle were in a band called Oda, believe it or not.
Sick.
For my father, that was his profession.
Mm-hmm.
He was a musician that just got paid off being a musician. He had no other job. So when he hung up the life, like he gave it up and everything and had a family, those instruments were always around. It was kind of easy to just kind of like pick something up and kind of play with a guitar or a piano or something like that.
Did he like teach you how to play them, or was it like he just let you play them and you figured it out?
No, he didn't teach me anything. And he made it that was kind of his rule, to not teach me anything.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
He wanted me to learn the same way that he learned.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, he's very proud of the fact that he neglected any kind of teaching whatsoever to me.
What did you feel? How did you feel about that? Did you want him to teach you, or were you like, nah, I'm cool, I'll just let me do it, you know?
That was it. I was the same way. I was like, no, I'll get it. I got this.
That's cool. How did you get from starting there to where you are now?
I was never able to join a band. When I was in high school, the big thing was everybody wanted to be a rapper. My friend Push, who got me like my start in music when he burned a copy of Reason 2.5 for me to put on my computer.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I had
so
a burned copy of some programs, that helped me too.
Yeah, it took me. I mean, really, my start was making beats. Believe it or not.
I want you, the real you. No makeup, full disclosure, girl. Don't hide it with a mask. I said you gotta love yourself for you. No filter, you don't need one girl.
Yeah, I had to. I kind of had to rig up this janky setup of like an old Toys R Us keyboard that my dad got back in the day, and then to my computer with Reason, and that's how I made my first set of beats.
Along the way, what influences did you have? Like, it could be bands, it could be teachers, friends you worked with.
I mean, it was when I was 18 that I discovered that there was the world of music was so much more larger than I had ever imagined. Especially going to shows for the first time.
For sure.
You know what? Actually, I do have one moment that I would say changed everything. Because growing up, so I had, because my father, the classic rock background, and then going through high school, hip hop. But that one moment that really changed me was when I heard Digital Love by Daft Punk. That was the moment, and I'll never forget it too. I was in the dorms in Sacramento, and my roommates were playing the movie Interstellar 5555.
Yeah. You got that.
The poster right
poster
there, yeah.
There for it, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, this kind of looks like a dope anime, and I just wasn't really paying attention to it. I'm in the kitchen, and then track number 3 comes on, Digital Love.
Yeah.
And I just stopped what I was doing. I asked them, like, what is this? What am I watching and hearing right now? And then they said it's a film adaptation to the record Discovery by Daft Punk. And I was like, And then later I went in my room and downloaded Digital Love. I must have listened to that song hundreds of times. Like, from that moment, like, okay, like, what else do they have? And I discovered the record Human After All. Yeah. And then their first record, Homework. And I just went down this rabbit hole. I discovered Justice. I discovered, all these other acts like Breakbot, Sebastian. It just showed me that, like, yes, it's electronic music for sure, but there are other aspects of that, especially that song, that I have longed for in, music. Everything about that song, it was infectious enough to change me.
Next question I have is, what do you get out of music? How does it make you feel? Is it a type of release, or do you feel like it is a form of communication? What is music to you?
Oh, I feel like I'm in a therapy session.
Yeah,
How does this make you feel?
Every other person I've asked this, it's like it seems like a very overwhelming question.
Okay, what do I get out of it? I mean,
talking about you.
I get I guess the same form of, like, endorphins that somebody would get if they're, they worked out or something like that. Like, those chemicals are working in your brain coursing throughout your body that make you feel good.
Yeah.
I get that high, I guess. And it's not something like, it's like every time I walk in this room, I'm gonna experience that high. It's not really how it works.
Right.
But I can't help it, though.
Right.
I really, even for the periods of my life where I've tried to stray away from music and focus on work and stuff, like, I always come back to it. You can't, it's like an identity that you can't run from, really. You can't escape that part of you that wants to create.
Right.
If that makes sense.
And do you feel like, I've thought this myself before, do you feel like if you weren't creating music, you'd be more into some other kind of creative art form or something, like writing or painting or something like that?
100%. Because I've felt that, from even, the podcast that Ernie and I have, like, there's so many moments throughout me, like, editing that I get, like, a high from, like, oh, that was cool, what we did. Like, and that's creation, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like I would be in some other kind of artistic thing. I don't know. Yeah. I will say, though, the one song on my record that I'm working on, the one song that is the single that just came out, No Filter, Ernie and I wrote that together.
I love that song, and I love Ernie's ending to it.
When I first wrote the song Taja, that song is a couple years old now. That was the moment when I wrote that song and recorded it, like, that was so different than anything I'd ever done before, and that was, like, the biggest discovery that I had ever made musically. So all these years of just writing these songs that they're just kind of coming out, and I never released any of them. When that one came about, when that one arrived, that was the moment where I said, like, oh, this could be my sound. When I laid that one down, that was so different that like when you hear it, you'll be able to hear like how I went from there to No Filter.
Yeah.
How I go from here to another song called She Lives in My Dreams, and just things like all these other ones. That was like the beginning of like what I could do as an artist. That would be the memory that comes to my mind.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show and everything.
Man, I appreciate you, Ryan. It was fun.
This is
Yeah.
really cool. This is really cool.
Yeah.
This has been another episode of The Musicians You Know. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.
Peace.